So this video, we're going to talk about how to escape your old reality, how to escape your current reality, your old reality, whatever, right? So how do you escape? Well, first thing you have to understand is everything that you currently see right now in your physical reality. So this is physical reality. Everything that you see right now in your physical reality is a reflection of your frequency. So this is physical reality, right? Let's say this is you. Now let's say you're poor. You're poor and unconfident. Poor and unconfident, right? Okay, so let's say, right? Remember, everything in your physical reality is a reflection of something invisible. It's a reflection of something that is invisible. It's your frequency. So this is your frequency. Frequency. All right. I didn't spell it right, but I don't care. All right. So frequency, right? So physical reality is mirroring your frequency. So let's say this is your frequency. This is invisible. This is invisible. You can't see it. All of us, we're vibrating at a certain frequency. And if you want to know what frequency you're vibrating at, just look at your physical reality and it's going to tell you the current frequency you're vibrating at right now. So understand that physical reality is simply mirroring this invisible frequency. Physical reality is a mirror, right? So you have to understand that the quickest way to change your physical reality is to change your frequency. It's truly that simple, right? So if someone is poor and unconfident, right, all they have to do is once they are able to shift their frequency into the version of them that's poor and rich, then guess what's going to happen? Their physical reality is going to reflect that, right? So let's say you have this guy, right? Let's say this guy's name is Samson. Samson is poor and he's unconfident. And then Samson understands that the reason he's poor and unconfident is because his frequency. He's like, oh, I need to change my frequency. So then Samson begins doing the work. He's like, well, how do you change your frequency? Well, what do you need to do to change your frequency? Well, you have to reprogram your subconscious mind because your subconscious mind is the reason that you're on that frequency in the first place. So Samson begins doing the work that he needs to do to reprogram his subconscious mind and change his frequency. So let's say he changes this frequency. This frequency is a bit different now, right? He reprograms his subconscious mind. He then begins changing his frequency. Now this frequency is rich. And it's a rich frequency, and now he reprogrammed his subconscious mind and changed his frequency to be confident. So now you see Samson. Now Samson, before we get into it, relax. Before we get into it, he has to maintain this frequency long enough for his physical reality shift. So you have to understand, let's put unconfident, poor. So even though Samson has done the work, and now it's instead of it being a poor and an unconfident frequency, now it's a rich he's confident frequency. Even though he's vibrating at that new frequency, right? His physical reality hasn't shifted yet, because you have to understand that physical reality is very dense. So everything is energy vibrating at a specific rate, but the energy in physical reality is way more dense. Right? So on a four-dimensional level, right? On an energetic level, you shift your energy instantaneously, but physical reality is going to take time to catch up. It's kind of like when you're, let's say you're in a video game, let's say your computer's lagging, right? And you click something, right? You click the thing to open a bunch of times, but it never opens. And then eventually after 15 seconds, it opens. Right? Or you're playing a video game and maybe your Wi-Fi connection is bad. So you're playing a video game, your Wi-Fi connection is bad, and you click the chest. So you need to open the chest, you need to open the box, except because it's lagging, it's taking a while to open, right? Or another example of this is it's a movie. Something happens to your connection and the movie's lagging, or the TV. So you change the channel, right? You change the channel, but it takes a bunch of time for the channel to actually for the TV to shift the channel, right? So you have to understand, and this is where a lot of people fail, because they actually did the work to change their frequency, but changing the frequency, right? That's the easy part. The hard part is you have to maintain this new frequency long enough for your physical reality to completely shift. So yes, so look, now Samson, what he did is he understood, he watched this video before it was even released, and Samson understood that, okay, he's poor and he's unconfident, and he understands that physical reality is a reflection of his frequency. He understands that physical reality is a mirror. So basically what he needs to do, he's like, okay, well, I need to reprogram my subconscious. And I'll add this in real quick, right? So I'll add this in real quick. Your frequency is determined by your subconscious belief. So everything's energy, frequency, and vibration. So let's just say this is energy, right? So this is energy, right? And then this energy is filtered through your subconscious belief system. So I'm just going to put SB. So that's the subconscious SB mind. So that's the subconscious mind, right? So this is energy, and then this is the subconscious mind. Think of this as like a glass prism. And then the energy is filtered through your subconscious mind, and then that determines the way that the energy is refracted. So then this determines your frequency, right? And then understand that physical reality is a reflection. So let's just put P. We're going to put PR. Physical reality, PR, right? So physical reality is a reflection of this frequency that you're vibrating on, right? So this is physical reality, right? So Samson is doing the work, right? Samson's doing the work to change his physical reality. Samson understands that physical reality is a reflection of the frequency that he's vibrating on, right? So he begins doing the work. He begins changing the beliefs in his subconscious mind, begins reprogramming his subconscious mind. So he begins shifting his frequency, right? But then that's the easy part. One of the hardest part is you have to maintain this new frequency long enough for your physical reality to reflect. Essentially, what happens with a lot of people is they do the work. So now technically they're actually vibrating on the frequency that they want of their desired reality. So let's say Samson does the work and now he's vibrating at the frequency where he's rich and confident. The thing is, he must not react. He must not get negative. He must not react negatively in an emotional way, because you have to understand, technically, logically, he's vibrating on an energetic level in the fourth dimension, right? He's vibrating at this new frequency. He is vibrating at the frequency of being rich. He is vibrating at the frequency of abundance. But he needs to understand that that's the easy part, right? His job, the hard part, is he has to maintain this new frequency long enough for his physical reality to completely reflect and shift it. So back to what I was saying, the physical reality is it's like dense energy, right? So the energy is more dense. It's more slow here. It's like a video game that's lagging. So even though you do the work energetically, it's going to take a bit of time for it to reach physical reality, right? So essentially, that's pretty much how it works, right? So basically, Samson, he has to maintain that frequency long enough for his physical reality to shift. And here's the annoying part as well. His old frequency, right? So he's vibrating at this new frequency, but his old frequency. So let's say this is old frequency. His old frequencies is going to try to get him to react. Basically, to throw him out of this frequency, the old belief system is going to try to get him to react, so to throw him off so he can shift back into the old reality, right? So, for example, Samson might decide that he wants to start, he wants to make more money, he wants to be rich and confident, right? And then, boom, a random bill comes out of nowhere. Boom, for some reason he's starting to get these random bills. He's getting parking tickets. He's getting his car towed. He's getting sued. Debt collectors are all over the place. Why? Because the old frequency is trying to get him to react in a negative emotional way to shift him back into that frequency. His job is to not react negatively in an emotional way, and his job is to maintain this new frequency of abundance and confidence long enough so his physical reality can completely shift. It's kind of like, let's say there's a video game and the video game is lagging. When the video game is lagging, you don't want to react negatively in an emotional way. You don't want to react, right? Understand that it's lagging. It's not a big deal. If you react, it's like, let's say you're opening a treasure box in a video game, but for some reason it's lagging. Understand, okay, it's lagging, no big deal. Let me just wait and not react. Because if you react negatively in an emotional way, the treasure box won't open. So you have to, one of the hardest parts is maintaining the frequency long enough for physical reality to reflect this new frequency, right? It's pretty much that simple. This is how it works. So Samson, he's vibrating at the frequency of being rich and confident now, right? But his physical reality still says he's unconfident and poor. And while this is happening, the old frequency is trying to drag him back, right? The old frequency is trying to drag him back to that state of being so that his physical reality doesn't shift, right? So that's one of the biggest issues when it comes to reprogramming your subconscious mind, manifestation, law of attraction, all that type of stuff. You can, you can change your frequency, but the hard part is maintaining your frequency. The hard part is, even though all those negative circumstances, all of these horrible things start happening, all your physical reality that hasn't shifted, it's to react differently. It's to make sure that you do not react as if it hasn't shifted, and it's to react in a completely different way. You need emotional intelligence, you need emotional control, and you need to understand that basically physical reality, there's a delay effect, right? It may take a while, it takes some time, because physical reality is very dense energy, right? So if Samson is able to maintain this vibration long enough for physical reality to shift, eventually what's going to happen is his physical reality will shift, right? And now in his physical reality, now he's rich and he's very confident, right? And then boom, look, Samson, he just bought a new supercar. He bought a Lamborghini. Let's say, look, he's in his supercar. This is a Lambo, right? Let's put Lambo. Samson bought a Lambo, right? Ooh, not only did he buy a Lambo, he got a new girlfriend. Look at that. Samson got a new girlfriend she's a baddie, right? Samson just got a new girlfriend. She's a baddie. In fact, Samson can't control himself. He decided he wanted two. One blonde, one brunette. So Samson decided he wanted two girlfriends. He couldn't control himself. Samson, you need to relax. All because you're rich and confident now. You can't be doing what you want. You need to relax, Samson. So now Samson, look how happy Samson is. And then look, he has a new hat. The hat, this is a rich person hat. Let's put rich on this. So now Samson's rich. He has two girlfriends. He has a blonde and a brunette. And now he's in his Lambo. Now understand that Samson had to maintain this new frequency long enough for his physical reality to completely shift. But if he reacted in a negative way, and if he started, thinking that it wasn't going to show up, and he started reacting negatively, and he felt horrible, and a lot of the things are getting worse because his old frequency is trying to get him to react, he never would have been able to get in the position where now he has the Lambo, he has the blonde, he has the brunette, his life's amazing, right? And now he has, Samson has a beach house. Look, a beach house. Beach house. All right? There you go. Boom. There you go. So because Samson understands metaphysics, he understands energy, he understands how to reprogram his subconscious mind, he understands the game of reality, how absolutely naturally everything works. He understood that when he was poor and when he was unconfident, it's because physical reality is a reflection of his frequency. So then what he did is he changed the frequency he changed his frequency from being poor and unconfident to being rich and confident. And now that he's vibrating at the frequency of rich and confidence, essentially he understands that there's a delay in physical reality because the energy in physical reality is more dense. So there's a delay. So he understands that, and he also understands that the old frequency is going to try to get him to react, to pull him back. So he understands that now that he's vibrating at this new frequency, that's the easy part. One of the hardest things is he has to maintain that new frequency long enough for his physical reality to completely shift. And he has to be very calm. He has to be very relaxed. He has to do his absolute utter best not to react to the negative things that prop up in his reality. Because you have to understand, another thing is, A lot of the times when you decide you want to get to the next level, random weird things are going to start popping up trying to get you to drag back down. That's the old frequency. It's like as soon as Samson decided he wanted to be rich and confident, boom, now he had people trying to sue him. He had random bills. He had a bunch of weird stuff happening. But he remained calm. He remained relaxed. He didn't react because he understands that circumstances don't matter. Only your state of being matters. So he maintained that frequency. Even though it was a bit difficult, he maintained this frequency long enough for his physical reality to completely shift. And then once he was already vibrating at that frequency. And then once physical reality was actually able to 100% completely shift, now boom, now he's in that position. Now he's rich. Now he's confident. He has a blonde. He has a brunette. He's in his Lambo. He has his beach house. His physical reality has caught up to his new frequency. Physical reality has caught up to his vibration. But that's the hard part. That's where a lot of you mess up. Even though you might be vibrating at that new frequency, right? You react negatively, right? So now and you saw it happen. You saw it literally happen. You saw Samson. You're right. This didn't happen immediately. First, Samson changed the vibration, and then it took a while, but then you saw this materialize. You saw it happen instantly. You have to believe manifestation and this metaphysical stuff is real now. Because you saw it happen. You saw Samson. He didn't have anything. He was poor. He was unconfident. There was nothing there, right? And you saw it with your own eyes on video, right? Now Samson has a Lambo. It materialized out of nowhere. Now he has a blonde and a brunette. And now he has a nice beach house. You saw it happen literally on video. It happened. It literally just happened. So you have no reason not to believe in manifestation, spirituality, and metaphysics. This absolutely literally proves that this is real because you saw it literally on the screen. That's why I wanted to do it this way. And that's pretty much it. Let me dab Samson up. Samson's a big G. Dab Samson up. Look, bro, he's a big G now. Right? Because he didn't react. Shift into the new frequency. Don't react and you'll be a big G like Samson. Let me dab my guy up. He's a big G. Big dog.